The ice storm hit New Haven like an angry beast. Wind screamed across the frozen ground. Snow fell so thick that Jin Park could not see past his own hands. He sat inside his small research station, drinking hot tea and watching the storm through his window. Jin was a simple man. He fixed things and helped sick people. For 3 years, he lived alone on this cold planet. Most people thought New Haven was boring. No cities, no excitement, just ice, rocks, and strange blue crystals that grew from the ground, but Jin liked it here. The crystals were special. When he touched them, cuts on his hands healed faster. When he ground them into powder and mixed them with water, sick animals got better. He wanted to understand how they worked. The storm had been going for 2 days. Jin's small station shook every time the wind hit it. He checked his heat generator. Still working. He checked his food. Enough for another week. He checked his radio. Nothing but static. Then something hit his station. The whole building shook. Jin's teacup fell and broke on the floor. He thought maybe a tree had fallen on his roof. But there were no trees this far north. Another hit. Bigger this time. The lights went out for a second, then came back on. Jin grabbed his thick coat and heavy boots. He picked up his emergency medical kit. Something outside needed help. He could feel it. He opened the door and stepped into the storm. The wind hit him like a wall. Snow stung his face. He could barely see anything. But there, in the white darkness, were 3 huge shapes. Jin's heart stopped. Dragons. Real dragons lay in the snow outside his door, but these were not like dragons from old Earth. Stories. These creatures had metal-colored skin that shined even in the storm. Their wings were torn and bloody. Their massive heads rested on the ground. Ice covered their bodies. The biggest dragon was as long as Jin's entire station. Scars covered its face and neck. Its breathing was slow and weak. This was a warrior. Jin could tell. The second dragon was smaller but more graceful. Her scales were silver and blue. Blood came from cuts on her side. She tried to lift her head when she saw Jin, but could not. The third dragon was the smallest. Still huge, but young. Its scales were bright gold, but now they looked sick and gray. It was not moving at all. Jin stood in the snow, staring. In awe, the galaxy, everyone knew about the Drakmari. They were the strongest fighters, the most feared hunters. Stories said they could destroy entire planets. Stories said they never asked for help. Stories said they never showed weakness, but here they were, dying in the snow outside his door. The big dragon opened one yellow eye. It looked at Jin. The eye was full of pain and surprise. It tried to speak, but only made a weak sound. Jin did not run. He did not call for help. He did not think about how dangerous these creatures were. He saw 3 beings who needed a doctor. Jin ran back inside his station. He grabbed every blanket he had. He dragged out his biggest heat generator. He carried out all his medical supplies. He even brought his food heater and cooking pot. The storm still raged, but Jin did not care. He was too busy working. First, he set up the heat generator next to the dragons. Warm air began to flow over their frozen bodies. The big dragon's eye followed Jin as he worked. The dragon looked confused. Jin covered the smallest dragon with his blankets. The young one was the coldest. Its breathing was very weak. Jin put his hands on its neck and felt for a pulse. Still alive, but barely. The female dragon watched Jin work on her friend. She tried to speak. Her voice was like thunder, but very quiet. Jin could not understand her words, but he understood her worry. "It's okay," Jin said to her. "I'm going to help." He checked her wounds. Deep cuts, but not deadly. He cleaned them with his medical supplies. The dragon hissed in pain, but she did not try to hurt him. The big dragon was the strongest, but he was also the most hurt. Old scars covered his body. New wounds bled into the snow. But his eyes stayed on Jin. Those eyes were full of questions. Why was this small human helping them? Did he not know what they were? Did he not know they could kill him with one claw? Jin brought out his cooking pot and filled it with snow. He heated water on his portable stove. He made warm soup with his own food. It was all he had, but the dragons needed it more than he did. The female dragon was the first to drink. Jin held the pot near her mouth. She was careful not to hurt him with her teeth. The warm soup seemed to help. Her breathing got stronger. Jin gave soup to the young dragon next. The golden creature was so weak that Jin had to help it drink. Drop by drop, the soup went down its throat. The big dragon refused at first. He looked at Jin with suspicion. In his world, no one gave help for free. There was always a price, always a trap. But Jin just waited. He held the pot and smiled. "It's just soup," he said. "You need it." Finally, the warrior dragon drank. For hours, Jin worked in the storm. He moved the dragons closer together so they could share body heat. He gave them more blankets. He made more soup. He cleaned their wounds and covered them with bandages. The storm began to slow down. The wind was not as loud. The snow was not as thick. Jin was tired and cold, but he did not stop. These creatures needed him. It did not matter that they were strangers. It did not matter that they were dangerous. They were hurt, and he was a doctor. The big dragon finally spoke. His voice was deep and rough. "Why?" he asked in broken human language. Jin looked at him. The dragon's yellow eyes were full of confusion and something else, something that might have been respect. "Because you needed help?" Jin said simply. The dragon stared at him for a long time. In all his years as a warrior, no one had ever given him such a simple answer. Everything was about to change. The storm was over. Sunlight came through the clouds and made the snow shine like diamonds. Jin had not slept all night. He stayed with the 3 dragons, checking on them every few minutes. The young dragon was getting better. His gold scales were brighter now. The female dragon could lift her head and speak in her deep voice. The big warrior dragon watched Jin with careful eyes. But something was wrong with all of them. Their scales had strange marks, gray spots that looked like stone-covered parts of their bodies. The spots were growing bigger. Jin had never seen anything like it. The female dragon tried to talk to Jin. She spoke in her own language. Jin could not understand, but he could hear the worry in her voice. She pointed at the gray spots on her arm. Then she remembered something. She reached into a small bag tied to her leg. Inside was a broken machine. It looked like a translator. The screen was cracked, but it still worked a little. "Sick," the machine said in choppy human language. Sick. Crystal death." Jin leaned closer. "Crystal death? What is that?" The female dragon's name was Naval. She was their healer. Through the broken translator, she tried to explain. "Disease makes scales hard like stone, cannot move, cannot fight. Then die." Jin looked at the gray spots again. They did look like crystal, like stone, like the blue crystals that grew all over this planet. "How long have you been sick?" Jin asked. "Many days," Naval said. "Our doctors cannot help. Medicine does not work. We came here to die alone." The big dragon made an angry sound. His name was Rex. He was their commander. He did not like talking about weakness. "We do not die easy," Rex said through the translator. "We fight until end." Jin nodded. "But you don't have to fight alone anymore." Rex stared at him. "Why you help us? What you want?" Jin was quiet for a moment. "I don't want anything. You needed help. That's enough." This made no sense to Rax. In his world, everyone wanted something: power, money, land, fear. But this human asked for nothing. "You lie," Rax said. "All beings want something." "Not all," Jin said. "Some just want to help." The young dragon was called Koren. He was weak, but he listened to everything. He had never heard anyone talk like this human. In dragon culture, you were strong or you were dead. You took what you wanted or you starved. Kindness was not real, but this human's kindness felt real. Jin went back into his station. He looked at his notes about the blue crystals. For 3 years he had studied them. They helped heal cuts. They made sick animals better. But what if they could do more? What if they could cure crystal death? He came back outside with some crystal powder. "Can I try something?" he asked Naval. She looked scared. "Crystals make us sick. Why you bring crystals?" "Maybe these crystals are different," Jin said. "These crystals heal things. Maybe they can heal you too." Rax moved his big head closer. "Crystals are death. You try to kill us now?" Jin sat down in the snow. He put the crystal powder in his hand. Then he took out his knife and cut his palm. Blood dripped into the powder. The 3 dragons watched with wide eyes. Jin mixed his blood with the crystal powder. It made a blue paste. "Look," he said. He put the paste on the cut on his hand. In a few minutes the cut was gone. "Your crystals might be like medicine," Jin said. "But maybe they need something else to work. Maybe they need this." He pointed to his blood. Naval was very interested. She was a healer too. "Your blood is different?" "All human blood is different from yours," Jin said. "Maybe that's what makes it work." Just then they heard a loud sound in the sky. A small ship was coming down to land. Jin smiled. "That's So Jin. She's my friend. She's very smart about healing." The ship landed in the snow. A young human woman came out. She had black hair and carried a big bag of medical tools. Her name was Sojin Lee. She was a doctor who studied alien life. Sojin stopped when she saw the dragons. Her mouth fell open. "Jin," she said slowly. "Those are Drakmari." "I know," Jin said. "They're sick. I think we can help them." Sojin walked closer, but she was nervous. Everyone in the galaxy knew stories about Drakmari. They destroyed planets. They conquered star systems. They never lost fights. But these Drakmari looked tired and hurt. They did not look scary. They looked like patients who needed help. "What's wrong with them?" Sojin asked. Jin explained about crystal death. He showed her the gray spots on their scales. He told her about his idea with the crystals and human blood. Sojin looked at his notes. She was very smart and understood quickly. "You might be right," she said. "Human blood has special things in it. Things that fight sickness. Maybe those things can fight this crystal death too." Rax was listening to everything. He could not believe what he was hearing. 2 humans were planning to use their own blood to save dragons. Why would they do this? "You risk your lives for enemies," Rax said. "You're not our enemies," Sojin said. "You're just sick. Doctors help sick people. That's what we do." Koren, the young dragon, spoke for the first time since the storm. "In our culture, only family helps family. Why you help strangers?" Jin and Sojin looked at each other. Then Jin smiled. "Maybe because we think all living things are family," he said. This idea was too strange for the dragons to understand. But they could see that these humans meant what they said. Sojin set up her equipment. She took blood samples from all 3 dragons. She also took samples of Jin's blood and the crystal powder. She worked for hours, mixing different combinations. Finally, she found something that worked. "Look at this," she said. She showed Jin a small dish. Dragon blood and crystal powder mixed together made more gray spots. But when she added human blood, the gray spots went away. "We can cure them," Sojin said. "But we need a lot of human blood. More than one person can give safely." Jin looked at the dragons. Rax was watching him carefully. Naval looked hopeful. Koren was trying to sit up. "How much blood?" Jin asked. "Maybe too much," Sojin said quietly. "It could be dangerous. It could kill the person who gives it." Jin was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. "We'll find a way," he said. "We have to try." Rax could not understand these humans at all. They were willing to die to save strangers. This was not weakness. This was something else. Something he had never seen before. something that felt like the strongest thing in the universe. So Jin worked all day mixing blood and crystals. She tried different amounts, she tried different temperatures, every time the same result. Human blood could cure crystal death, but they needed so much blood that it would kill the person giving. Jin watched the 3 dragons getting worse. The gray crystal spots were growing bigger. Koren, the young dragon, could barely move now. Naval's breathing was getting harder. Even Rax, the strong warrior, was weaker. "How much time do they have?" Jin asked. So Jin looked sad. "Maybe 1 day, maybe 2. Jin was quiet for a long time. He watched Koren struggle to breathe. The young dragon was going to die. They all were, unless someone saved them. "Take my blood," Jin said. So Jin dropped her test tube. "What?" "Take my blood. All of it. As much as you need." "Jin, no. That will kill you." Jin looked at her with calm eyes. "Maybe. Maybe not. But if we do nothing, they will die for sure." So Jin shook her head. "There has to be another way." "There is no other way," Jin said. "You tested everything. This is the only cure." Rax was listening to everything. His translator was working better now. He understood what the human was saying. This small, weak creature wanted to die to save. Dragons, it made no sense. "Human," Rax said. "Why you do this? We are strangers. We are warriors. We have killed your kind before." Jin looked at the big dragon. "Have you killed me before?" "No." "Have you hurt me?" "No." "Then you are not my enemy. You are just someone who needs help." Rax stared at Jin for a long time. In all his years as a warrior, he had never met anyone like this human. Dragons fought for territory, for food, for mates, for honor. But this human was fighting for something else. He was fighting to save lives that were not his own. "You are very strange," Rax said. "Maybe," Jin said. "But I'm still going to help you." Naval tried to speak. Her voice was very weak now. "Human Jin, you should not die for us. We are not worth it." "Everyone is worth it," Jin said. So Jin was crying now. "Jin, please, let me call for help. Maybe other humans can give blood too." "There's no time," Jin said, "and no other humans are close enough. It has to be now, it has to be me." Koren, the young dragon, opened his eyes. "Why?" he whispered. "Why save enemies?" Jin knelt down next to the young dragon. "You're not my enemy. You're just young and scared and far from home, just like I was, once." Jin stood up and looked at Sojin. "Start the machines, we're doing this." Sojin wiped her eyes. She did not want to do this, but she understood. Jin had made his choice. She had to help him save the dragons. She set up the blood machines. She put needles in Jin's arms. She connected tubes and filters. The machines would take Jin's blood, mix it with crystal powder, and put the cure into the dragons. "This will take hours," Sojin said. "You'll get very weak very fast." "I know," Jin said. "Just keep working." The machine started. Red blood flowed through clear tubes. Sojin mixed it with blue crystal powder. The cure turned purple and sparkled like stars. First, she gave the cure to Koren. The young dragon was the weakest. Purple, liquid went into his veins. Almost immediately, the gray spots on his scales began to change. They became shiny gold again. Koren's breathing got stronger. His eyes got brighter. "It works," he said with wonder. "I feel better." But Jin was getting pale. So much blood was leaving his body. He sat down heavily. "Jin, are you okay?" Sojin asked. "Keep going," Jin said. His voice was weak. "Save them all." Next, she gave the cure to Naval. The female dragon's silver scales began to shine again. The gray spots disappeared. Her wounds healed faster. "Thank you," Naval said to Jin. "Thank you for giving us life." Jin smiled, but he could barely keep his eyes open. Too much blood was gone. Finally, Jin gave the cure to Rax. The big warrior's scales turned bright bronze again. His scars faded. His strength returned, but Jin collapsed. "Jin!" Sojin screamed. She ran to him. His skin was white, his breathing was very slow. "I'm losing him." Rax stood up for the first time in days. He felt strong again, healthy again, alive again. And it was because of this small human who was now dying. "There is a way," Rax said. "What way?" Sojin asked. "Old dragon magic. Very old. We can share our life force. But it has never been done with another species." Naval and Koren looked at their commander with surprise. "Rax, that ritual is sacred. It is only for dragon families." "This human is family now," Rax said. "He gave us his life. We give him ours." The three dragons stood around Jin's still body. They began to sing in their deep voices. It was an ancient song, a song of bonding, a song of sharing souls. Light began to glow around them, blue light from their scales, purple light from the crystals, golden light from somewhere else. So Jin watched in amazement as the light flowed from the dragons into Jin. She could feel power in the air, magic, something beyond science. Jin's eyes opened, color returned to his face. His breathing got stronger. But something else happened too. Jin could suddenly hear the dragon's thoughts, and they could hear his. Rax's mind was full of honor and strength, but also confusion. He had never felt gratitude like this before. Naval's mind was full of healing knowledge and gentle wisdom. She was amazed by Jin's courage. Koren's mind was full of wonder and questions. He wanted to understand how someone could be so brave. Jin's mind was full of simple love, love for all living things, love that asked for nothing in return. The dragons felt this love through the mental bond. It was unlike anything in their warrior culture, but it felt more powerful than any weapon. "We are bonded now," Rax said, "forever connected. You are dragon friend, dragon brother." Jin sat up slowly. He felt different, stronger, and he could sense the three dragons' emotions like they were his own family. "How do you feel?" Sojin asked. Jin smiled. "Like I have 3 new brothers and sisters." All 3 dragons were completely healthy now. The crystal death was gone. But more than that, they were changed inside. They had experienced human love, human sacrifice, human compassion, and they would never be the same. Koren looked at Jin with new eyes. "You showed us that strength is not just about fighting." Naval nodded. "You showed us that healing hearts is as important as healing bodies." Rax, the proud warrior, bowed his great head to the small human. "You showed us what real honor looks like." Jin reached out and touched each dragon's snout gently. Through their bond, he could feel their gratitude, their confusion, their growing understanding that the universe was bigger and stranger and more wonderful than they had ever imagined. Everything was about to change, not just for them, but for everyone. 3 days after the bonding ritual, Rax sent a message to his home world. It was not a normal military report. It was something that had never been sent before. "This is Commander Rax to Dragon High Command," he said into his communication device. "I am alive, my team is alive, we have been cured of crystal death." The voice that answered was shocked. "Commander, how is this possible? Our best healers said there was no cure." "A human cured us," Rax said. "A human gave his blood to save us. A human risked his life for strangers." Silence on the other end. Then, "Commander, are you sick? Humans do not help dragons. Humans fear us." "This one did not fear us," Rax said. "This one saw us dying and chose to save us. He asked for nothing in return." Rax told the whole story. He told them about Jin finding them in the snow, about the medicine made from crystals and human blood, about Jin willing to die to save them, about the sacred bonding ritual. When he finished, there was a long silence. "Commander," the voice said slowly, "bring this human to the home world. The Dragon Council must hear this story." But the story did not wait for official meetings. Rax had sent the cure formula with his message. Dragon healers began making the medicine right away. They saved thousands of dragons who were dying from crystal death. Every dragon who was cured heard the story of Jin Park, the human who gave everything to save enemies. Word spread fast through dragon space, from world to world, from fleet to fleet. Soon, every dragon in the galaxy knew about the small human with the big heart. But the story changed them. For thousands of years, dragons believed that strength meant taking what you wanted. Strength meant making others fear you. Strength meant never showing weakness. But Jin had shown them a different kind of strength. The strength to help when you could take. The strength to heal when you could hurt. The strength to give when you could keep. On the Dragon homeworld, the High Council met for the first time in 50 years. All the greatest dragon leaders came together. They had one question to discuss. What does this human's actions mean for us? Elder Tamra was the oldest dragon alive. She had lived for 800 years. She had seen countless wars and victories. I have been thinking about this human, she said to the council. In our culture, we respect strength above all else. But what is stronger than being willing to die for strangers? General Kotha was a famous warrior. He had conquered 12 worlds. Dying for strangers is foolish, he said. It gains nothing. Does it? Elder Tamra asked. This human's action saved 3 dragons, but it did more than that. It saved thousands of dragons when we learned to make his cure, and it has made us all think about what strength really means. The debate went on for days. Some dragons still believed in the old ways, but many others were changed by Jin's story. Finally, they made a decision that shocked the entire galaxy. The Dragon High Command sent a message to Earth. Not a threat, not a demand. A request. To the human government, the message said. We wish to meet with you. We wish to learn from you. We wish to become allies. On Earth, Admiral Ha-Jun Kim read the message 3 times. He was the commander of all human space forces. In his 30 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. Dragons did not ask for meetings. Dragons took what they wanted. But this message was different. It was respectful. It was hopeful. Admiral Kim sent a reply. We accept your request for meeting. We send greetings of friendship. When Jin heard about the meeting, he was surprised. He was still on New Haven with So-Jin, studying the crystals and making more cure. He did not think his small act would cause such big changes. They want you to come to the meeting, Admiral Kim told Jin over the radio. They asked for you specifically. Me? Jin said. Why me? I'm just a doctor. You're the doctor who saved their lives, Admiral Kim said. To them, you're the most important human in the galaxy. Jin did not want to be important. He just wanted to help people. But Rax, Naval, and Koren convinced him to go. Your voice could change everything, Naval said through their mental bond. Dragons will listen to you now. The meeting was held on a neutral space station. When Jin arrived, he saw something amazing. Hundreds of dragon ships floated near the station, but they were not in battle formation. They were in greeting formation. Jin walked into the great meeting hall. 300 dragon leaders waited inside. These were the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Conquerors, warriors, legends. They all stood up when Jin entered. Elder Tamra spoke first. Jin Park of Earth, she said. You have shown us a new kind of strength. We wish to learn this strength. Jin was nervous. He had never spoken to so many important people before, but he remembered what he always believed. Strength is not about being the biggest or the strongest, Jin said. Strength is about helping others when they need help. Strength is about choosing love over fear. The dragons listened carefully. Some of them nodded, others looked confused. But all of them were thinking. General Kotha stood up. Human Jin, he said. You make it sound simple, but leading is not simple. Protecting people is not simple. You're right, Jin said. Leading is hard. Protecting people is hard. But maybe it gets easier when you remember that everyone is worth protecting. Even your enemies. Koren, who had flown to the meeting with Jin, spoke up. When I was dying, Jin did not see an enemy. He saw someone who needed help, That is why I am alive today." After 3 days of talking, the dragons made their decision. They wanted to learn human ways of peace. They wanted to form an alliance. They wanted to change from conquerors to protectors. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light. Other species heard that the feared dragons now sought peace. If dragons could change, maybe everyone could change. 1 year later, Jin stood in his new office on the Dragon home world. He was now the human ambassador to the Dragon Empire. But more than that, he was a bridge between two very different ways of thinking. Through his window, he could see human and dragon children playing together in the gardens below. Human doctors worked with dragon healers to cure diseases. Human teachers shared knowledge with dragon scholars. Rax walked into the office. The great warrior now wore robes of peace instead of armor of war. "Jin," Rax said, "the cure you created has now saved over 1 million dragons across the galaxy." "That's wonderful," Jin said. "But that is not the most important thing you did," Rax continued. "You showed us that real strength comes from love, not fear. That lesson is spreading to every world, every species." Jin looked out at the playing children again. Human and dragon, learning together, growing together. "I just helped some people who needed help," Jin said. Rax smiled, something dragons rarely did before meeting humans. "Yes, and that changed everything." In the great council chambers, Elder Tamra was teaching young dragons about the new way. "Remember," she told them, "we came to a human's door dying. He gave us everything and asked for nothing. This is the strength we must learn. This is the path we must follow." The galaxy was different now, better, kinder, and it all started with one human who chose to help instead of harm. Jin Park had changed everything, one act of kindness at a time.